Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio with Nancy Reed and Lisa Smith, the crazy mother-daughter travel team and publishers of the digital interactive Big Blend magazines. And I'm very excited today. We have got Lori B. Duff joining us. Lori is a national award-winning humorist and best-selling author, and she is also known as Atlanta's funniest lawyer. You know what? Lawyers are pretty funny. And, you know, we could just do lawyer jokes all day. But the best thing to do is actually go get her brand new book. It is called If You Did What I Asked in the First Place. Nancy, familiar to you? Yeah?
Yes, that sounds very familiar.
It's very familiar to me. I think I grew up hearing that all the time, and I still hear it. And it's out now, everyone, through Deeds Publishing. You can go to LoriDuffWrites.com. She's also got JonesandDuff.com. She's on Twitter and all those great places as well. So welcome, Lori. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, we're both happy about this. This is cool. Your book is a fun collection of stories, and I think we can all identify with them. I'm not a parent, but Nancy sure can. You know, especially the teenage daughters. You know, there's things.
Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something.
Well, so how do your children and husband feel about being written about?
My children have been written about so long that they don't remember life not being written about. So it's just life for them. My husband is thankfully oblivious. He doesn't read a lot of what I write, so he doesn't know sometimes. What he does read, he says I exaggerate. But I have asked him to specifically point out what he thinks I've exaggerated, and he's been unable to do that so far.
So now wait a minute. Is your husband a lawyer too?
No, he is a retired police officer.
Oh.
He is currently a full-time pain in the neck.
But I could just see that how people, like, you both have this questioning kind of thing. You know, police officers ask you questions when stop, like, where's the fire?
Yeah.
And that kind of thought. I could see you two questioning each other. That's funny.
Yeah, and I do have that tendency to slip into cross-examination mode, which irritates everyone around me.
Well, this is a good balance. Lawyer by day, writing by night kind of thing, you know, because, you know, the lawyers I know, it's a stressful career. So does writing kind of balance that out for you?
It does. I always say well, for one thing, it's a lot cheaper than therapy and probably a lot more effective. It also helps balance out my karma. I spend most of my days writing things that are going to ruin someone's day. In the history of the world, no one's ever gotten an envelope with a lawyer's return address and gone, yes, thank God. So when I write these silly, fun little pieces, I feel like it's balancing out my energy in the universe. Yeah,
see, this is the thing too. You're writing letters. You know, we have Ward Heinrichs. He comes on our show. He's an employment lawyer. And we were talking about, you know, when he has to write the lawyer's letters. And I'm like, do you sit and stew over it? Like, you know, how we do articles, we'll sit there and write articles and you think you've got it. And 2 days later, you're tearing the whole thing apart, you know, and you're going crazy with it. But he's like, no, you haul. I had to watch my language there for a second. I don't know what happened here. But it was just like, it's just so second nature that writing, you know, lawyer letters is a fast thing. Is that for you too?
Yeah, in fact, most of them you don't even write anymore. Once you've been practicing for more than 10 years, there's very little creativity in it. The whole game is plagiarism and copy and paste and, oh, where did I write that already? And finding what you've already done. You know, there's very little that you're doing from scratch. It's, oh, where did I, finding the paragraph that works from this letter and combining it with the paragraph that works from that letter. A lot of it is routine and just fitting it with the fact pattern that comes in. Well, people come to you and they think they have this unique fact pattern, and it's rarely something you haven't seen before.
So what happens?
And I've been doing it for 25 years.
Oh,
What
wow.
happened?
When you are in court, do you try to be funny?
Well, I don't try, but sometimes you can't help it. I try not to be because sometimes there's just so many softballs. I am a municipal court judge.
Oh.
And so on Thursdays, I'm the judge.
Oh,
and
cool.
Although I have to say I am judgmental 7 days a week, I just only get paid for it 1 day a week. And
that's fun. How much fun?
When things are funny, they're funny. And,
yeah.
I'm not opposed to laughing in court. And
it shouldn't be stuffy in there. I mean, bad things, when court, it's like this, it's not fun for the people having to, get being the duked out part of it. But it's got to lighten up. Look at Light Night Court. Come on, that was fun. But that's a TV show. I know, see.
Right. And you have to balance it because things happen in a courtroom that are just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And people's lives get altered, and sometimes things happen in a courtroom that means you're never going to see your child again, or you're going to go to jail for years. But sometimes it's not all that serious. And even in the middle of a serious thing, a funny thing can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the court that I am the judge in is traffic court.
Oh.
So, it's not that it's not serious, because it is, and there are serious things that happen, but, it's not murder, it's not rape, it's not, the more serious crimes. It's traffic court, it's minor misdemeanors like shoplifting and disorderly conduct and that sort of thing. So as far as criminal law goes, it's a relatively low stakes game. And
shoplifting is funny. That is funny because people do weird things.
Yeah, they really do.
They really do. People do weird things all the time. And every once in a while, I will just lose it and laugh. And I've been known, I shouldn't say this in a public forum, but if someone really makes me laugh, I might knock $1 or $2 off their fine just for giving.
All right, we've got to broadcast this in Atlanta, right, everyone? But come on, the laughing part is fun. I mean, the shoplifting, that kind of like, okay, there's big shoplifting, but there's like seriously funny, like how they, hid this to get out the door. That stuff is fun. We've seen some crazy things. We did a tour in South Africa with Nancy's art, and a lot of times she was because the grocery store was in the malls back there. And so she'd be set up with her art, and she was selling the paintings for the Cancer Association and painting, which has its own little thing when people get to watch an artist paint in public. It's fun.
Painting.
Yeah, Nancy had a lot of wine at the end of the day. But we watched people steal things. People would tape the bottom of their pants and wear like big sweatpants and tape the bottoms, and they'd put like a frozen chicken down their pants and
yeah, it was really funny.
Try to get out.
Yeah.
You see that,
and all of
kind
that
thing?
stuff comes through my court. Yeah, those all come through my court. And so whenever, one of my favorite things to do, and I'm sure you've seen it if you're at all involved in social media, is you see the local police blotters, and they have the best headlines. And those are the cases that come through my court.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
And every once in a while, like other, I won't say what case it was specifically because I really don't want to, embarrass anyone publicly. But before I could help myself, and whenever I see those and I realize that it is in my jurisdiction, I try really hard not to read the article because I don't want to have any preconceived notions about the case, because I feel like I do need to be impartial. But I can't help but see the headlines because everybody goes nuts and shares it. And somebody came through my court not too long ago, and it just blurted out before I could stop myself, "Oh, you're that guy." I was like, "Oh, that is so professional. I'm so sorry."
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we had a friend who lived in Mexico, and when we lived out in the high desert in California, we would get the local newspaper, and call him to read the local things. And he'd go to the local store because the store in this town, and I'm going to be polite and not tell the town name, but you'd go to the local store and they had a bulletin board, and it was like, remember, you could buy goats here. There, all of these crazy things, right? So you had this artistic community in this desert town. You had the desert rats, and then you had retired military. It was just this crazy combination of people, and then you had like obvious like druggies. And so the headlines would be "Man peed in mailbox" and things like that. And so we would sit and just read these things to him. You know, we had a good phone bill back then, but those are the funny things. And you don't tend to write about that because, you know, that's your professional. I mean, you're multi-professional here. You're a professional writer and everything, but like, you're not taking your work home and writing about it. But do you see yourself, you know, when you hang up the robe and retire, are you going to go to town on all these stories?
I would imagine that I will. Between my private practice and the bench, I have so many stories, and I purposely don't write about them because I don't want anyone who comes before me, either in court or in my office, to think that I might betray a trust or spread their business out, you know, across the country. You know, I want them to know that they do have that level of privacy, but some of it is just such great material. And there's all these stories just running through my head. And I think, well, if I just fictionalize this and change a few little details and set it maybe 2 states over, that would be a great novel.
Well, people really are funny. They do the weird things, you know. And I mean, even from like, well, my grandmother roller skated off the roof of her house and didn't understand why she broke her legs.
Right. The problem with fiction, though, is it has to be believable.
Well, I think that's where, you know, when fiction is based on true story, it's always the better fiction. You know what I mean? Because life, the stories that people give you. I mean, but now let's talk about Wonder Woman. Excuse me. I love that. It's the first story in the book, and you're fearless. You go and you put your photo of you in a Wonder Woman outfit. It's not even just an outfit. It's like a Snuggie. You know.
It's a onesie.
A onesie that looks like, you know, you're leaking. But anyway,
yes.
The leaking Wonder Woman, and you put it in your book, you put it on social media, and you've got this thing to embarrass your kids. And Nancy, you did that to me, and you still do it as much as you can.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah. That never goes away. Did your parents
payback.
Did your parents embarrass you growing up?
They still do.
Awesome.
When my dad, especially, my sister used to steal the car all the time. Not steal it, but, you know, she would she had a car, and obviously she liked my parents' car better. So she would just take my parents' car instead of her car. And so to prevent her from doing that, my dad put a Vulcan Science Academy sticker on the back of the car because that was so painfully uncool. He thought that would prevent her from doing that. And when so I was born in 1970, so cell phones were just being invented when I was in high school, but they were these kind of big, clunky things that they weren't independent of the car, but that car phones were a thing, but they were connected to the car. And so he thought they were the dumbest thing in the world, and why you couldn't just wait till you got home to make a phone call was just beyond him. And so he took a headset from a wall phone with the big curly cord, and he unplugged it, and he just stuck it between the seats of the car. And whenever he saw someone on a car phone, he would just pick it up and start shouting into it.
See? Oh my gosh.
And then he did the same thing. We lived in New York, and so he commuted on the train to Manhattan every day. And when they started getting independent, they were, again, these big clunky things, he took the same headset with the curly cord, and he kind of trapped it between the edges of his briefcase. And he did the same thing on the train. just to be obnoxious.
Well, Nancy, was it Lance who did that? Lance, who was it with the phone? You got to tell that story because it's so. I mean,
you know, he had a normal house phone, and he had it in his van, and he could make it ring, and he'd answer it while he's driving his car down the road there when people were staring at him because he had long hair. And this is in Africa where, you know, it was just the age that
he was
guys,
hippie.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to have long hair, so people would stare. And he'd make the phone ring, and then he'd answer it, and he'd be talking, and then they really stared. But it was funny. That was
At the
it. That was
stoplight.
so. And then sometimes, you go to when you had to stop at a red light, he'd hand the phone out the window and go, "Hey, it's for you."
He would be friends with my dad, I believe.
Exactly. I was just thinking that. It was like if they were both like driving on the same road, could you imagine? That would be like perfect. That would be absolutely perfect. What led you into the world of writing? Because I know that not only have you written a collection of books, so this is your fourth book, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, 4 books, awesome. And then, but what led you into that? Because you also ghostwrite and you teach memoir writing and all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, well, I've been writing my whole life. I took a lot of creative writing classes in school. My high school was fortunately very much focused on the arts, including creative writing. We had a very good program that I was involved in. And it's just sort of something that fell by the wayside because life got in the way. And then when I was 42, you know, also, let me kind of skip around, but I think it's the rare lawyer that doesn't have a novel in his or her desk drawer. I think that's pretty common. But when I was 42, I ran for probate court judge, and I lost pretty soundly. I mean, I didn't just lose, I mean, I lost. And I was also at an age where I was ripe for midlife crisis, and there was just a whole confluence of factors. And at the time, and this is a story I tell a lot, but it's a good story. I just, one day, my house is generally a mess, and I just decided I was going to take control over one part of it if it killed me. And so I cleaned my bathroom really well. Like I got a toothbrush and scrubbed the grout.
Oh my God.
Just, like, it was gonna shine. And so my husband, in a fit of quote unquote helpfulness, decided that if it was going to be that clean, it needed to have new light bulbs to show it off. And so he went to change the light bulbs in the light fixtures, and then decided that the sockets that the light bulbs went into were too loose for his taste. And so he went to replace the sockets, which he had to take down the light fixture to do, which resulted in a rain of black dust all over the bathroom that I had just scrubbed with a toothbrush. And then it took him 9 months to put the light fixture back up. And so I started blogging, which was a relatively new thing, about, and then he was retired at the time, so he didn't have a job. This is important. So he was doing whatever he wanted all day.
If I say typical, am I going to get in trouble?
Not at all. Not with me. Not with me. So I started blogging about all the things he was doing that were so critically more important than putting the light fixture back up over my sink. And that blog was called The Light Over My Sink. And it was just kind of a private thing that I shared with a few friends, but they really liked it. And not long after that, the local patch put out a call for bloggers. They just wanted bloggers on there. And I emailed the editor a link to The Light Over My Sink. And I said, "Is this what you're looking for?" And she said, "Yes, this is exactly what we're looking for." and will you do this for us? And I thought, well, I'm not going to do this because this is a little too personal, but maybe I'll kind of take a slight left-hand turn and modify it a little. And that's just how it started. And then I did that, and it kind of took off from there. It got to be it was pretty well received in the community, and
cool.
It just kind of went from there.
That's awesome. I love this. And look at even the titles, you know, the armadillo, the pickaxe, and the laundry basket. I mean,
yeah.
Who comes up with this? Mismatched shoes and upside down pizza. That sounds like us, Nancy. That was written. That sounds it was written for us because we don't have a laundry basket. We travel. We have laundry bags, and we leave our underwear across the country everywhere we go. Somebody gets, you know, a bra, a sock, a panty. I don't know, whatever they get something somewhere. We always leave something. Nancy, you've
breadcrumbs.
Nancy leaves like actual clothes everywhere. Somebody gets pants, t-shirts, you know. So I think this goes with us. So now you've got this one out. Okay, so are you always working on these? Because are the other books like this one that's out now? If you did what I asked in the first place, just how to do it with them.
Well, if you did, I mean,
yeah, I know.
It's true.
Right?
It's so true.
my gosh. Are they all stories? Because it's so easy to read and fun to read. And I don't want to give it away. I talked about Wonder Woman, but I don't want to, you know, spoil the party in there, because it is a fun read. And I think we need this now. I think women especially, right, for reading this, they need that breath of fresh air. And sometimes you don't want to dig into a huge novel. You need something at wine time. You need something before you go to sleep because someone, you know, made you go grr,
right.
growl, you know. So I think this is needed, you know. We need some
Thank
fun.
you. I think that too. There's so much we have to get mad at that there's not enough to just laugh at. And I try really hard to stay away from controversy. And it's not because I don't have opinions about controversial things. I have very many, and I could get into that, but I won't, because there's enough people willing to do that. And there's not enough people willing to just talk about the things that we all can laugh about. And one of the things I'm proudest about is that people who tell me that they like what I've done are people who in real life would spend their days yelling at each other. And that's where I think the middle ground is. It's in humor. There's a certain middle ground that we can all relate to and that we can all laugh at. And that is ultimately, I think, what's going to bring us together, is that essential humanity, that essential piece that we all can relate to and we can all laugh at.
I agree. That and music. Those are the two things.
Yes.
And wine. We can put wine and pizza.
Well,
and pizza.
Absolutely. Wine, pizza, music, and laughter, which all go together. You can do them all at once.
Yes, we do. that's how we're not just driving our way across the country. We're rolling our way across the country, you know. Nancy's special breakfast is leftover pizza with an egg on top, a fried egg on top.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh,
really good.
I've never tried that, but that sounds amazing.
Really good. Really good.
That makes me want to go buy a pizza just so I can have it for breakfast.
Yeah. And then you have to have champagne with it.
Yes, or Prosecco.
Very
nice.
Yeah, or you could do a mimosa if you want to be like.
Yeah, you could do that.
Want your vitamin C thing, or Bloody Mary. I'm now thinking. No, wait, now I'm hungry and thirsty. Now but pizza.
Wow.
I know. Domino's, just as we're talking, emailed me with a hello. You want a pizza? $5.99 for a carryout. I'm like, no, I'm not going to pick it up. They need.
See how that works? I told you there's signs everywhere.
Yeah, I don't go in there and, you know, look at, no, you need to bring it here, and always bring extra Parmesan cheese. Thank you. Everything else. But, you know, that's how it rolls. So ghostwriting, do you write humor or do you dig into like murder and horror, or what? I
tend to write nonfiction books for people. The niche I seem to have found is excuse me, there are a lot of people who have an expertise in their business and they have a lot of information that they want to convey, but they're not writers. And so they've done a lot of research and they put a lot of information together, but they don't know how to organize it or translate it into English. And a lot of times what I say I am is a translator, that they can speak in the language of their field, but not in English. And so they'll give me what looks like a manuscript, but it's not always that readable. And then I'll translate it.
I like that. Yeah, because if you get something serious like like manuals, right? Which who reads manuals?
Right.
Nancy reads manuals.
I do.
She's a
Takes
manual.
me lots of time.
I know.
It's because this is how you do it.
Oh
you
my
read
gosh.
the manual, and then, especially with software and new software and stuff, if you read what they tell you, then you know how to use the software without spending hours.
See, does this sound like your book title? If you just read the manual in the first place.
Just read the manual.
but they're boring. They're boring. Okay. And then I just like to look at the different languages in there. That's cool. But they're boring. But if someone can, provide this in a way that we can understand, I think it's very important. Like, nonfiction, if you're reading a health book or you're reading a business book or something like that, you still need to use storytelling. A spoonful of sugar goes a long way.
Right.
So
Can I talk about when Lisa tried to make her own office chair? She wouldn't read the manual that came with the pieces.
Oh, shush. I know. I had to sit in it for 2 years. After 3 years, I kept that office chair. And if you sat on it, if you didn't balance the right way, you would fall off. Because I will not.
Were all the legs on the bottom?
The legs were on the bottom, but I did like the core, like it was tilted. It was tilted. I don't know. It was like I did it backwards. So like, I can't explain it, but I screwed it up totally.
If you had read the manual.
Yeah. Gosh. So do you have another one in the works? Another book?
I have the material for another book, but at the moment, I'm just kind of letting it sit there. I'm working on a novel just for a change of pace. I may or may not ever be able to finish it because it requires sustained concentration, which requires people not talking to me for more than 5 minutes at a time, which is really a hard thing when there's teenagers in the house and a law firm and all of that. But my goal is to get that done. I have it all plotted out and mostly written in my head. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it, which if I could just maybe run away for like a month, I could do it. And any minute now, someone's going to aggravate me enough that I'm going to do that.
Oh, that'd be cool. That's cool. If you do that, let us know, because we have a friend who has a writer's retreat, and she'll hook you up in Colorado if you want.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we just tested it out for her. It's only for writers, and so she has all our books from when we hit the road. She took all our books, and it's pretty cool. You go in there, you see it. It's a nice little retreat. You get away from it. It's in a small town, so there's already interesting things to watch. And there's drive-through liquor stores, so that's interesting too.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing. Okay, so I have to ask this. All right, you're going to throw a pizza party, okay? And you get to invite 3 people, alive or passed on, anybody that you want to sit and spend pizza time with, okay? So I want to know who the 3 pizza party people are. And we have to ask about what's on the pizza, and then what are you drinking with it? Because we want to know who, though. That's the most important.
Well, there's definitely onions on the pizza.
Okay.
Onions are good.
Onions are good. And anyone who can't stand stinky things is not invited to my pizza party. Because the stinkier the food, the better.
Yeah. Garlic.
Garlic and onions and blue cheese and all the stinky food is the best food.
You put blue cheese on your pizza?
No. I'm just sort of making a general point that stinky food is
stinky
good.
is good. Stinky is good. I'm with you.
let's see. Who would I? 3 people. Do they have to like each other? Can I talk to them one at a time?
You could, if they don't like each other, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I wish I'd have time to prepare for this question, because then I have to overthink it.
Well, you can't overthink it. Just, who would you invite?
Who would I invite?
I just made this up. It's just fun because it's pizza.
Yeah.
I want pizza for dinner now. I'm like totally hungry for pizza with bacon, right, Nancy? It's got to not Canadian bacon, real bacon.
Yes. Bacon, I think, is the reason that most Jews don't keep kosher.
Is that really? You think?
I'm pretty sure.
Do you ever eat bacon?
I'm contractually obligated to say no, but that would be a lie.
See, now our friends say they do it outside the house. Like, you're only allowed to do it outside the house and not tell it.
Yeah.
But, but just no anchovies. Or pineapple. Why do people put pineapple on a pizza?
Because it's good. I admit I like pineapple.
You do the pineapple on the pizza? We had pineapple, a
Pineapple
dish. A fajita dish in Louisiana. They put all the fajita onions and peppers and the meat thing, the chicken, inside a pineapple and barbecued the pineapple and gave it to you with rice and beans. Yeah, it was really, really good. I didn't think it would be, but it was really quite interesting. But okay, so you're 3 people.
Oh, you're not letting me off the hook on that one.
No.
Okay, well, I could go all lofty and be like Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh, yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
She's cool.
And she is cool. She really is cool. And Frida Kahlo.
Oh, yeah. She's great.
Yeah. But she'd be entertaining at a pizza party, wouldn't she?
Oh, my God. She'd bring tequila.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm down for that.
And do they have to be real people?
No.
Because then you could just invite Wonder Woman.
I knew it. I had to find out.
And then everyone would tell the truth. You'd know if anyone was lying. Because she could just wrap them all up with that lasso. Mm-hmm. That's what I want, is that lasso.
And everybody has to wear the onesie. Wonder Woman onesie.
Right?
I want to see Eleanor Roosevelt in a Wonder Woman onesie. Can you imagine?
She would wear the onesie, but she would not wear the
I don't think she would.
Thing.
She would not. I don't think she would.
Is it bad if I say I want Oprah to wear the onesie? I do.
No.
She probably would.
She would.
She
would wear it on the show.
Yeah.
Because that thing's comfortable. It's fleece.
She tried to dress like Tina Turner, so she'll do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. She tried to keep her hair like that.
She did the hairdo like that, and then she tried to keep it, and Tina told her, "No, hey, that'll be enough of that."
Yeah. No more Tina hair. Yeah, Tina rocks. Tina Turner. I'd have pizza with Tina. I would want her at a pizza party.
I would absolutely let her at that party.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Let's have a big party. That'd be awesome. Okay, so everybody, again, go to LoriDuffWrites.com. Follow her on Twitter. You're on Instagram too, right? And Facebook?
I'm on everything.
She's on everything. And she likes onions and stinky cheese and wine. That's important. So keep up with her there. And the book is out right now. It's called If You Did What I Asked in the First Place. I have to just kind of be like that. All right, so I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you so much, Lori. I wish we were having pizza and wine with you in person. That would be so much more fun. But everybody,
me too.
I know, but just no pineapple. But you can have pineapple on your side, Nancy. You get to have your mushrooms. You. Yeah, it's all right. I don't have to have bacon either because I'm supposedly a vegetarian. So there you go. It's just not working very well.
Because of bacon. Bacon is the problem.
It is the problem, Nancy.
Why keep what?
I don't know, but I have to be nice because she's the one who puts the egg on the pizza. So, She does that part, so I have to be nice about it. But everyone, Big Blend Radio airs Sunday through Friday. You can keep up with our schedule. Just go to bigblendradio.com. And we always love to close shows with music. And I love this song, and I thought this is just perfect. I should have done a pizza song now, but this is called, this is from the Brutalists. We love the Brutalists. It's all about brutalism. But the Brutalists rock. Check out their albums. Their latest one is out now. It's called We Are Not Here to Help. Anyway, this is from their first album, The Brutalists, and this is called Nutter, and it's all about she's a nutter. So just here it is, Nutter. Thanks so much. You take care, Lori.
Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun.
Calling the law.